Picture this. You have just conquered your deepest, darkest psychological fears.
Right, the really terrifying stuff.
Exactly. You finally took that massive, terrifying leap to start your own business. You are a visionary.
It shattered the doubt.
Yeah, you were just riding this incredible high of adrenaline. And then, I mean, maybe 3 months later, that same visionary business is quietly bleeding to death.
And you have to ask why.
Right. Why? Well, it is because you were too intimidated to open a spreadsheet.
It is the great paradox of the business world, really.
It totally is.
The mindset that gets you through the door is almost never the mindset that actually keeps the lights on.
Welcome to today's Deep Dive. I'm your host.
And I am your resident expert.
And we are going straight into the heart of that duality today. So for you listening, whether you are prepping to launch your own venture or, trying to scale one you've already got.
Or even if you're just insanely curious about it all.
Right. If you are just curious about the psychology of what it takes to actually build something from nothing, you are in the exact right place.
Absolutely.
Our mission today is to explore the dual realities of the entrepreneurial journey.
The yin and the yang of it.
Exactly. And we're doing this by analyzing two incredibly contrasting visual sources that you shared with us.
I gotta say, the materials we have today, they just brilliantly illustrate the absolute extremes of this journey.
They really do.
We are looking at this abstract, almost violent psychological battle on one side.
Yeah, the fun part.
Right. And then the quiet, very concrete administrative grind on the other.
So the first source is the cover art for a book by Antonio Arnold. The title is Breaking Barriers, Overcoming Limiting Beliefs in Your Business Journey.
It's a very striking cover.
It is. And the second source is a single, highly detailed photograph of a workspace. It's looking straight down onto a desk.
Just a classic overhead shot.
Yeah, and it's centered entirely around a document titled Tax Strategies for Small Business Owners.
A very different vibe from the book cover.
Totally. Okay, let's unpack this. How do these two drastically different visuals perfectly encapsulate the full spectrum of starting and running a business?
I mean, that is the core question, isn't it?
It is, because you have one featuring this dramatic, literal, barrier-smashing imagery.
And the other featuring the meticulous grind of paperwork.
Right. So let's start with the psychological battle. The book cover for Antonio Arnold's Breaking Barriers.
It immediately sets a very specific tone, I think, for what the author believes the start of a business actually feels like.
Yeah, so just to paint the picture for you, we are looking at this very tight close-up shot.
Very tight. You feel like you're right there.
Exactly. In the immediate foreground, there is a hand just tightly gripping a hammer with a worn red handle.
And it's not resting. The hammer is in mid-strike.
Right, actively smashing into the top of this solid speckled piece of granite or rock.
It feels incredibly heavy just looking at it.
It really does. But then right behind this rock, kind of dominating the background, are these towering, pristine, modern glass skyscrapers.
Reaching up into a bright blue sky.
Yes, and there's even a huge sun flare shining in from the left side of the frame.
It's very cinematic.
Totally. And then anchored at the bottom is the author's name, Antonio Arnold.
What's fascinating here is the choice of the visual metaphor for a limiting belief.
Oh, tell me more about that.
Well, if we look at those skyscrapers in the background, they clearly represent the ultimate goal.
Right, the destination.
Exactly. The corporate heights the reader wants to reach, they are sleek, they reflect the sky, they represent limitless potential.
They feel almost utopian with that sun flare hitting them.
Utopian is a great word for it. But to get to that utopia, your eyes have to get past the foreground.
The big ugly rock.
Right. The obstacle blocking the view isn't a glass ceiling.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, we hear that phrase all the time in business, right? The glass ceiling. But Arnold doesn't use glass for his barrier. The barrier is a heavy, impenetrable rock.
I have to jump in here because I think that's a crucial distinction.
Go for it.
Why a rock? We often talk about limiting beliefs as if they're just these invisible, fleeting thoughts.
Like they're just in the air.
Yeah, like a bad mood you can just snap out of, or an imposter syndrome that you can cure with a few positive affirmations in the mirror.
Right, just smile and it goes away.
Exactly. But Arnold's cover is saying, no, this is solid stone.
Because neurologically and psychologically, that is exactly how limiting beliefs function.
Wait, really? Like scone?
Yes. They are the deeply entrenched stories we tell ourselves about who we are.
Give me an example of that.
Things like, I'm not smart enough to run a company.
Oh, sure.
Or, people like me don't get funding. Or
Yeah.
I'm just terrible with money.
I hear that last one all the time.
Right. And they don't feel like flimsy thoughts to the person experiencing them. They feel immutable.
They feel real.
Very real. They feel like physical roadblocks that have been there since childhood.
Think about it this way. It's like trying to build one of those massive glass skyscrapers in the background.
You can't just throw it up anywhere.
No, you simply can't lay a foundation if your plot of land is blocked by a giant, ancient boulder of self-doubt.
That is a great analogy.
Thanks. You can't just wish the rock away. You can't, like, meditate the rock out of existence.
You need a tool, and you need active physical force.
Hence the hammer.
That's where the hammer comes in, exactly. The hand gripping that hammer is tense.
You can see the tension in the knuckles.
Overcoming a deeply ingrained belief about your own limitations takes aggressive work. It is an active demolition process.
I love looking at the physical posture in this image. The hand is balled into a tight fist around the handle.
Pure brute force.
Yeah. Swinging a hammer requires you to narrow your focus to a single point of impact. It's an explosive release of kinetic energy.
And the angle of the image reinforces that monumental effort, too.
Oh, how so?
Well, we are looking up. The camera angle is low, looking up at the rock, up at the hammer, up at the skyscrapers.
Oh, wow, you're right. I didn't even notice that at first.
It places the viewer in a position of having to rise to the occasion. The business journey starts with this sheer exertion of will.
There's an undeniable adrenaline rush to it, right? Breaking things feels good.
It feels amazing.
When you finally realize, wait, I can do this. I don't have to listen to that voice of self-doubt.
You just swing.
Yeah, you swing the hammer, the rock shatters, the sun shines down on you, and those skyscrapers are just waiting for you.
It is the ultimate entrepreneurial high, the genesis of the business.
The ultimate moment of liberation.
Exactly.
And here's where it gets really interesting.
Oh, yes.
You swing the hammer, the rock shatters. You walk into the lobby of that pristine skyscraper.
And the adrenaline immediately drains out of your body.
Poof, gone.
The fantasy collides with the reality.
Because sitting in the middle of that beautiful new office is an absolute mountain of compliance paperwork.
Welcome to business ownership.
Right. Breaking that mental barrier, smashing the rock, that is literally only step one. The dramatic music stops and the unglamorous reality begins.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, there is a fascinating irony in the entrepreneurial space.
What do you mean?
Well, we just spent all this time analyzing the courage it takes to overcome limiting beliefs, right?
Yeah, the big rock.
But one of the most common and frankly most destructive limiting beliefs that new business owners face
Yeah.
is actually the avoidance of administrative and financial tasks.
Wait, I have to push back there.
Okay, good.
We usually think of limiting beliefs as these deep-seated existential fears, like I'm destined to fail or I don't deserve success.
Sure, the classic stuff.
Are you saying that just avoiding your accounting software is actually a psychological limiting belief and not just, laziness?
That is exactly what I'm saying.
Because that sounds a lot like standard procrastination to me.
I mean, it looks like procrastination on the surface,
Mhm.
but the root cause is deeply tied to identity.
Identity? How so?
Think about it. The entrepreneur usually identifies as the visionary, the hammer swinger.
Right, the person making things happen.
Exactly. They are the ideas person, the disruptor, the marketer. They thrive on the big picture.
Okay, I follow you.
But when it comes to the granular details, the accounting, the compliance, the legal structures, they experience a massive identity threat.
Oh, wow. I never thought about it like that.
So the limiting belief shifts. It goes from, I can't start a business to, well, I'm not a numbers person.
Or like, I'm too creative to be bogged down by taxes.
Exactly.
Ah, I see. It's a defense mechanism.
100%.
They are telling themselves a story that says, that's boring stuff for other people to do. I'm too
Right.
busy innovating to read a tax form.
Precisely. They create a brand new barrier to protect their ego.
That is wild.
They don't want to feel incompetent, so they just avoid the arena where they aren't the expert.
Right. If you don't play the game, you can't lose.
Exactly. But the true test of overcoming a limiting belief isn't just that initial glorious burst of motivation where you swing the hammer.
The adrenaline rush.
Right. It's the endurance. It's the willingness to put down the hammer, take off the superhero cape, and do the necessary tedious work.
The highly structured work that actually keeps the business breathing.
Yes.
Which brings us perfectly to the second visual source, capturing that exact endurance event.
the desk.
We've transitioned from the bright blue sky
Yeah.
and the dramatic low camera angle of the book cover.
To a very flat overhead shot of a wooden desk.
It is a complete perspective shift.
We are no longer looking up at our dreams. We are looking down at the objective reality of the work.
We are looking down, God's eye view.
Yeah.
And the desk is, it's a very organized chaos.
It's the tools of the trade.
Right in the middle, we see a person's hands, and this is crucial. They aren't gripping a hammer in a tight fist anymore.
No, completely different posture.
The hands are open, relaxed, but highly precise.
One hand is holding a document steady, and the other is holding a black pen.
Actively filling out a dense, complicated-looking form on a white clipboard.
And front and center, spanning the top of that form,
Oh, I love this part.
is this bright blue header that just screams bureaucracy.
It says, Tax Strategies for Small Business Owners.
Look at the sheer volume of items surrounding that clipboard, too.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
This isn't just a quick 5-minute task.
It's intense. On the left side, there's a black, heavy-duty calculator.
Above that, a closed laptop.
Over on the right, a white standalone keyboard. A pair of reading glasses casually tossed on the desk.
Other official-looking forms scattered underneath.
But my favorite detail, and this is so telling about the nature of this work, there are multiple white coffee cups with red accents on the saucers.
Multiple cups.
Not just one cup, multiple half-empty cups.
I think that detail is the most critical part of the entire image.
Why is that?
Those coffee cups show how administrative compliance operates on a biological level.
Okay, you're going to have to explain that.
It's an endurance event. It drains you in a way that swinging a hammer doesn't.
Oh, for sure. Swinging the hammer is fast.
Right. You need chemical stimulants just to maintain the focus required to survive tax season.
Hence the multiple cups of coffee.
Exactly. The sheer volume of items, the multiple screens, the calculators, the layers of forms.
Yeah.
It visually represents the intense workload, the long hours, and the exhaustion that isn't glamorous at all.
The hammer strike takes 1 second of explosive energy.
Yep.
Drinking 3 cups of black coffee while doing tax strategy takes all night.
It requires a completely different type of cognitive stamina.
Because having a brilliant business idea or having the bravery to smash through your personal limiting beliefs means absolutely nothing if the underlying tax and financial strategies aren't mathematically sound.
Exactly. The IRS does not care about your personal growth journey.
They really don't.
They don't care how many rocks you smashed.
They hear about the math.
They care about compliance. This image is the anchor to reality.
I like that. The anchor.
The calculator doesn't deal in beliefs. It deals in objective facts.
Right. 2 + 2 is always 4.
It forces the visionary entrepreneur to ground their lofty skyscraper dreams in the very unforgiving rules of commerce and government regulation.
Notice how the tax strategy document is dead center in the image, too.
Oh, yeah. Right in the middle.
The laptop, the keyboard, the glasses, the coffee, they're all literally orbiting it.
Like a solar system.
It feels almost like a black hole pulling all the entrepreneur's energy inward. Everything revolves around getting this specific paperwork right.
Because that's exactly the mechanism at play.
Really?
Yeah, financial strategy is the center of gravity for a small business.
Okay, that makes sense.
You can have the best marketing in the world. You can have a revolutionary product.
Right.
But if your tax strategy is fundamentally flawed, if your cash flow is bleeding out through poor structuring or a lack of understanding of deductions and liabilities,
Then what happens?
the entire system collapses inward. The business dies. The paperwork at the center of the desk demands your absolute attention because it is the reality principle.
You know, it's like if Antonio Arnold hammer is the tool you use to break into the business world,
Yeah.
this calculator and this clipboard are the tools you use to make sure you don't get kicked out.
That is the perfect distillation of the journey.
The hammer is for entry. The calculator is for longevity.
You break in with passion, you stand in with precision.
Man, that requires such a massive cognitive shift.
It's basically asking someone to be two different people.
We touched on the hands earlier, the closed fist versus the open hand guiding the pen.
Right.
It requires a completely different type of fine motor skill, both literally and metaphorically.
It demands a dual personality.
Yeah.
You cannot do tax strategy with the same adrenaline-fueled aggression that you use to overcome a major psychological barrier.
If you approach your spreadsheet with a hammer, you are just going to break your computer.
I mean, literally. It's true.
You have to learn to turn off the disruptor part of your brain.
You have to cultivate the meticulous auditor inside you.
Which is not easy.
Not at all.
Yeah.
The most successful business owners are the ones who can seamlessly switch between these two modes without losing their sense of self.
We can spend the morning vision casting
Breaking down new industry barriers with that hammer.
and then spend the afternoon quietly, humbly,
Oh,
reviewing quarterly tax estimates with their accountant.
exactly.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener?
Taking it all in.
We've journeyed from the soaring, sunlit glass skyscrapers of our psychological ambitions straight down to the wood-grain reality of the accountant's desk.
Quite the trip.
What is the ultimate takeaway from these two drastically different sources?
I think it boils down to the fact that a successful business journey absolutely requires a balance of both extremes.
It is a non-negotiable requirement for survival.
You need the sweeping, courageous mindset shifts depicted by Antonio Arnold.
You have to identify your limiting beliefs.
Those heavy, unmovable granite rocks sitting in your path, and you have to pick up the hammer. You have to believe you are capable of building the skyscraper.
But true learning, true entrepreneurial maturity, means embracing the administrative reality just as fiercely as the visionary one.
Because you can't succeed with just the hammer.
Right. If you try, you'll just be a person breaking rocks in an empty field with no actual infrastructure.
Just a pile of rubble.
Exactly.
But conversely, you cannot succeed with just the calculator.
Oh, that's a great point.
If you only focus on the tax forms, the compliance, and the risk mitigation, you will never take the massive leap required to build the skyscraper in the first place.
You will just have a perfectly balanced, mathematically sound spreadsheet for a business that doesn't actually exist.
Which doesn't do anyone any good.
Passion and paperwork. Mindset and math.
They aren't enemies.
No, they are partners.
And I think this raises an important question for anyone currently navigating this path.
Yeah, we've explored the tension between these two necessary states of being.
We really have.
So, what is the final thought we should leave them with?
Well, if you have successfully used the hammer to shatter your initial limiting beliefs,
If you've found the courage to start the journey and aim for those skyscrapers,
are you accidentally building a brand new barrier for yourself by avoiding the intimidating paperwork waiting on your desk?
oh, that's good.
You have to ask yourself which image represents the barrier you actually need to confront today.
Is it the granite rock of self-doubt that you need to smash?
Or is it the tax form that you've been avoiding for 3 weeks?